My name is Glahn. I work at the International Relations and Security Network of the ETH Zurich, and happy to be here. And I'm happy to follow the invitation by Stefan and Ricarda to present our work, our little work, to you. And it's not just as exciting as your work, but nonetheless very important things that go on. And I'd like to open your attention to slightly different aspects of mobile learning that go beyond just the book. To give you a little context what we do at the ISN Zurich, we mainly work with the military. So some of the graphics I show later show people, green people with helmets, so don't be surprised. When I talk about learning and education, I mainly do this for these nice, happy people there. This is part of our agenda, and the mission that we follow in the area of e-education at the ISN is to develop and promote new tools and practices for professional education and training in the international relations, security, and defense sector. So we work a lot with the Ministry of Defense or the Foreign Ministry of Switzerland, for example. When it comes to mobile, you all know that mobiles are today everywhere. And I have a lot of slides, so I need to speed up very quickly because 20 minutes, 40 slides, that doesn't go well together. So I'd like to give you a little statistics around the mobile everywhere, but I will skim through them rather fast in order to come to the point I want to make. So first of all, the smartphone penetration, according to Google, is somewhere around average. And these are 2013 data collected by Google, and you see here the penetration 2012, 2013, and you see that across Austria, France, Germany, Italy, and Switzerland, in general, it's increasing, but it's below 50%. So you would think mobiles are everywhere, smartphone penetration is relatively low, but well, you have to remind yourself, this is about taking everybody of the market into account, in particular also retired people. If we look at actually our audience, the picture changes quite dramatically. So this is the audience from the same data set of Google, covering just a group of 18 to 34. And there you see that compared by men and women, the smartphone penetration is way above 75%. And what you also can see from this little diagram, smartphones are a female thing. Something that is rather surprising, where we thought about computers in the past were more a male thing. So obviously with smartphones it's quite different. Well, that was encouraging to see this kind of data, but at the ISN we wanted to have a little look how the data in our particular field, specifically here in Switzerland, looks like. So we did our own survey at the VBS among VBS trainees, covering the age group 20 to 50. And we asked them what kind of mobile devices you have and all kinds of other questions. And I'd like just to show you the smartphone penetration from there. So what you see here is this great green part. This is the iPhone users at the VBS last year. The purple part is Android users. The blue part is any other smartphones like Blackberries, Windows phones, and everything else. The red one is feature phones like the old phones. And what is interesting here, by this 10% remaining, 50% of those people were planning to buy a smartphone the very year. And finally, there is the 1% non-starters who don't have a mobile phone, neither feature nor smartphone, but these are people from the high level who actually have an assistant at the site who does all the phone calling for them. So what is encouraging, if we look at this data, is we actually have 89% of our audience using smartphone devices. Not today, last year. Today it's even more probably. And if we compare that to other data that we see in higher education a lot, like laptops or netbooks that we use, well, they hardly peaked above 70% among our students. So today it's more likely that our students have a smartphone in their pocket than to have topic-related lecture books with them. But when it comes to mashups, I like to ask this little question. So most market studies focus on a single device type, such as smartphones or tablets. But the research literature on mobile learning specifically is paying attention to a very wide range of different devices. And I'd like to give you a little overview of that. So we have PDAs or iPods, we have smartphones, we have feature phones, we have Game Boys, for example, you know, these gaming consoles that you carry around, used in education quite a lot actually. We have tablets, of course, but then we have netbooks, convertibles more recently, laptops, and even digital cameras that we can use for inquiry-based learning, and they are internet connected these days as well. And a lot of the discussion is about mobility or portability of the devices or mobility of the learners. So what I was wondering myself, that most of these studies report also on a single device type on each on their own, not necessarily on smartphones like in the market studies where we find a lot, or tablets or something, but each one focuses on one specific type. But does that reflect the educational practice, the reality that we face in education? So I'd like to ask this question. Who really uses just one information technology at the time? Just one. And if you're honest to yourself, who really uses just one information technology? And as you see in this picture, information technology includes paper, printed materials as well. This is all information technology. And as you see here in the background, somebody's gesturing. So that means there's a discussion going on. One of the oldest information technology that we have in humankind. And is there really just one technology that we have? Printed books, we heard about e-books, yeah? This is going on. And if we look at it critically, whoever really used one information technology, like here you have an abacus for doing math, some writing material, books and background, and so on and so forth. So why are there so many one-on-one technologies in learning and education if already 50% of our learners frequently use more than 2 mobile devices at the time? So this is another data from our survey where we asked them how many devices you use in parallel. And the students said, or our participants said, well, half of them already use 3 devices or more quite frequently and frequently together. That is laptops, tablets, mobiles, gaming consoles, cameras, and so on. So what is striking here is that really mobility is not at the core of the mobile revolution and even of mobile learning as such. So focusing just on the mobility aspect is obviously not capturing the whole thing. So if we scan the literature, we find a lot about context, ubiquity, and flexibility. And this is really the essence when it comes to information handling. So what about mobile technologies? They will definitely not replace previous technologies. Not like we had in the past discussions on e-learning, like back, say, 13 years ago, 2000, when everybody was like in the e-learning hype. E-learning is replacing the traditional classroom learning. This is not going to happen. But mobile technologies will extend, contextualize, augment, and enrich the existing practice. So when I talk about mobile mashups, to come back to the title, I actually envisioned something like this. Something where you have a digital online learning management system somewhere in the background in the cloud that can be iTunes U, that can be of the university, but you have a range of devices that you can connect to it, such as mobile phones, tablet, interactive TVs or smartphones, depending on the context where the students are in. So to give you a little theoretical definition about mobile mashups are complex business logics, processes, experiences that integrate different services and activities. And let's have a quick look where we are today. So you heard probably a lot about responsive design and special user interfaces for mobile devices. This is what we have a lot, and you probably have seen that yourself with LinkedIn, the Kindle device, where you can read the Kindle services where you can read ebooks on all kinds of devices, being Android devices, phones, tablets, iPhones, all kinds of other things, specialized ebook readers, even the desktop. And the interfaces adapt themselves to the platform that they're working on. And what you can use that is that you can carry around your content with you regardless of the platform that you're actually looking at it. This one is rather new because in the past we had like single blocks of content, PDF files, and if you try to open a complex PDF file on a mobile phone, you're stuck most of the time because looking at this stuff is rather difficult. The second thing that we have is cloud synchronization, and there are a lot of practices where we can embed tools like the Kindle again, or Evernote or Dropbox into our activities in the classroom and extend and augment the activities there. For example, in Kindle, you can start reading on a desktop environment or an ebook reader. You can make your markups and everything. And when you switch on your mobile device will remember where you were reading and where your markers are. And you carry everything with you, and everything is synchronized whenever you switch it over. A couple of years ago, we did a little experiment with Evernote where we gave exercises to students to use Evernote, this note-taking system that works on desktops, all kinds of platforms, on mobile devices, all of them, in order to make notes where they are, take pictures, stack them together and share them with their peer students. And that worked rather well. But again, all through cloud synchronization, you're all stuck in your single environment. And then you can have special apps for special services, such as with Facebook, where you have the Facebook app on mobile devices or on the web, and then you have special mini apps like Facebook Pages where you have some kind of administrative interface for group management, or the Facebook Messenger for peer-to-peer communications. But when we look at an organizational perspective, and this is really where we are looking at the defense sector as well, we are looking at organizations that deliver large-scale training, not so different to the higher education sector. So there, we are really interested in integrated and managed learning experiences. And integrated and managed means basically, at the end of the day, we need to certify that something has happened. And more organizations have their infrastructure already in place, and even such as at the ETH, have multiple learning management systems running at the same time, and this is probably not so uncommon for many of you here. But we are looking at managed learning experience, and how can we mesh mobile apps into our learning management systems? This is really the question that we tried to answer over the last 1.5 years at the ISM, and we came up with a little app to demonstrate this. So our app is called Mobile Cards. It's a rather simple tool. It's free for use and it's open source, and you get it on the Google Play Store and on the App Store. And I give you a little glimpse how it looks like. It's really nothing fancy. It's a question and answer tool that provides students a question, gives them answer options. We support all kinds of different types of answer options like get text, multiple choice, sorting question, and so on. And then gives immediate feedback and additional information on the question and answer that the student has provided. So it's really anytime, anywhere learning on stereo. It's beyond, because everybody can actually perform this little question-answer exercise from start to feedback in about 15 to 30 seconds. Yeah, so this is really where anytime learning can come to, because 15 seconds, 30 seconds, you can do that at a bus stop easily without bothering. Excellent. Nobody needs a microphone anymore. So this is what we wanted to achieve. We want to unleash the potential of the mobile device when it comes to the flexibility of the learner, and bring learning experiences to places when the learner actually have the time to learn. And particularly in the professional field, but also among a lot of our students, the time for learning is rather scarcely present, the big chunks. So we try to get into the small chunks. But we didn't want to deliver just an app. We wanted to leverage the power of modern learning management systems for the new opportunities that mobile technology gives us. And new, I mean, solutions that we cannot do today with the learning management systems that we have in practice. And you couldn't do these small exercises with learning management system unless you take quizzes as something similar. But what is the power of modern LMSs? It's course management, they're rather optimized for that and pretty good. We have student management for grading and all kind of this, and we know which students are which courses. We have content management where we can drop all kinds of other things in there. We manage the rights, who has access to what, and we have course and content authoring, which is in most cases rather well organized. So what we did in Mobile Cards, we divert this power to the student mobiles in parts. And I'd like to show you now a couple of worked out mobile scenarios, mashup scenarios, where we integrate our mobile cards with other experiences and exercises. So again, we are talking about complex business logics and processes. What does that mean in educational design? For example, we use the learning management tool for pushing out exercises to students for classroom teaching that go on every week. And every week, new kinds of homework exercises are pushed to the mobile devices of the students just after the session in the classroom. And we can use the learning management system in order to do so, because there we can set for the content very easily, at this point in time, the content becomes available to the student or disappears for the student. Yeah? And just because we set that online in the learning management system, which is standard functionality, it just happens on the student mobile devices as well. No interaction that the students need to refresh or do any fancy activities there. We build an exercise where we have role plays with different roles, where we created small preparation exercises for the different roles in the role play that we gave to the students in order to engage stronger into their role play activities. And that worked that way, that the students logged into their learning management system. They got pushed the mobile cards to their devices and worked through the exercise on their own. And when they came in the face-to-face session, they were well prepared for the exercise and were more engaged into the learning experience, into the role play experience. Another example is exercises for online courses or MOOCs. Well, I put MOOCs there because it's such a big hype. But actually, what we can do with MOOCs or any other form of online course is that we can split the online course into different sessions, and after each session or chapter, we push out new exercises until the student has reached the whole set of exercises, can practice towards the exam, and finally take the exam online. And what you see here is this is no longer face-to-face integration, but we use the course management capabilities of the learning management system in an online setting to release extensional activities to the learners on their mobiles. So when they're on the go, they do the exercises on the mobile. When they're at the desktop, they can work through the complex e-books and material that they have there. And finally, we had a more complex process where we integrated them all. Yeah? We had a language course for military English, very exciting stuff. Everybody, particularly in Europe, has to do it if you're working in an army and you're about to go into a field mission somewhere, humanitarian actions anywhere in the world. And these people go through a blended learning course traditionally. So you have a face-to-face course where people go in, have exercises together with an instructor. Then there are online phases that normally conclude with an online test. And then you have several sessions of face-to-face training as well. So what we did was we provided mobile carts to these students as well. But after time, the instructors came to us and said, you know, we have always these students that come to the course but are not really there yet with their English. Can we give them additional material that brings them up to speed with the others without creating a separate course? Yeah, because that's not what the student wants to do, because they don't want to go into another course because they have the feeling it's more work to them. So what we did in mobile carts, we created for this audience just a separate set of exercises in the learning management system and made it available for just these students. And they used together the standard exercises together with their special exercises, and for them it was one big course experience. They were practicing towards the test. Some still failed because they didn't put as much effort as they should. But for the rest of the group, this additional material was completely invisible. And this we haven't done by extending our app. This has been done just by assigning students to groups in the learning management system. Again, a relatively simple task to do in most systems such as Moodle, OLAT, or Ilias that is widespread here. So we came up with 3 primary learning design approaches to do that within the LMS. And we have basically time-centered approaches for timed lessons when we meet in the classroom and we know it's every Thursday, 3 o'clock, and after that I give my students new exercises. We have participant-centered approaches where we assign the participants into different groups and give them specific learning material. And we have process-centered approaches like in the online course or MOOC example where the students are incrementally working through a process and get, depending on their personal status in the process, new material assigned. So what I'm wondering is, what are your ideas when it comes to these things? And you can always go and try out these things yourself. You can download the app, you can connect to our learning management system. We have an authoring environment that is freely available. You can go there, register, and immediately start trying out this tool in order to get a little feeling what we are doing. And everything is for free, basically. So these are my contact details if you have further questions. And if you like, I can demonstrate you later on the app in the coffee break or drinking break. What is it, coffee?
Drinking.